Here we are, first attempt of the video of the Windvane in use. It's reaching across the solar wind dials, that speed up to just in 13 knots true. Windvane's already given us the opportunity to argue about who makes the tea. Jacqueline says she's steering and I say that she's not. Boat's been held true and steady on a course of about 040 across the Solent. Wind's been nice and steady and the Windvane's done its job perfectly so far today. Steering line set up ever so simply, running from the fulcrum, blocks on the push pit, turning the lines forward, 2 blocks taking the lines to the wheel. Everything seems to work just as it was meant to. I think that'll do for now. Videos can get a bit boring, but second day of use with the Windvane and everything doing as it's meant to do. Here's edition 2 of our video of the testing of our Windvane. Wind speed today 13-14 knots. Boat speed, as you can see, 8+ knots, and the reason for that is today we're pushing the Windvane to the limits that we know it with our spinaker up. So we're actually reaching along under the spinaker, going very nicely, tight reaching, jockey pole out, keep the guys off the centre line stanchions, with the boat going extremely well. Full mainsail. Today we've got our friend, long-term friend Brian in the photo, in the video, but during the whole of the launch Brian just kept a look at what the Windvane was doing. Windvane kept the steering all the way through, 2 of us putting the spinaker up and held the course perfectly, and now, as we've seen, doing over 8 knots. Windvane working perfectly, slowly luffing the boat to the limit of the spinaker and bearing away as required. And so far, while the spinaker's been up for the last 15 minutes, all we've done is just trimmed on the sheet to get the general trim right and left the boat to it. So far, perfectly good. Possibly see St Albans Head ahead of us. We're leaving Weymouth now to head into Poole, and St Albans Head in the distance, which gives a good indication of how the boat's behaving relative to the bearing away and luffing up under the spinaker. Not quite sure how we worked out how to jibe the spinaker with Elvis, our new deck hand. He was called King Neptune to start with, but then he became the King, and the King then became Elvis. But we haven't actually taught him how to steer through the jibe yet. We'll have to work that one out another day. Today the wind's slightly tighter than yesterday, so we've not got the spinaker up, but doing a nice 6 knots in 11 to 12 knots of true wind. We left Poole early this morning. The sea breeze has gently filled in to reach this level. We've now got our full main up and number 1 Genoa, which is all set very nicely. Of course, we've had good old Elvis steering us perfectly. The only thing we've had to try and do is just try and adjust slightly the balance of the vane itself by raising or lowering the vane on its fitting. But as you can see from the wake, course is being held as true as you would expect it to on 090 heading for the Christchurch Ledge. everything working well. And to say we're pleased with the Windvane is an understatement. It's doing everything we expected it to do. The only times we've had to play with it and be fretful with it at all is when it's very, very light, and of course the wind, apparent wind strength is so low that you can't do much with the vane anyway. But other than that, we've been really pleased with it. So signing off from this little video of our trials, and if anybody does watch it and it encourages you to buy a Windvane, think of the Neptune. Elvis is doing us proud.